Welcome to Take Me to the Cloud, a place for business professionals to hear insights and best practices from industry experts that combine cloud systems, operations, supply chain, and finance.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining another episode of Take Me to the Cloud. I'm your host, Melissa Holton, and this episode is talking about CRM systems, and it is hosted by our summer interns, Mars and Angie. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Take Me to the Cloud podcast. My name is Mars, and I'm a consulting intern with the management consulting team here at Witham. Today, I'm here with some special guests for an episode on CRM. So Angie, Josh, and Lewis, would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Hi, everyone. I'm Angie. I'm also a consulting intern here at Witham.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lewis Palmitesta. I'm a manager of the NetSuite practice here at Witham.
Hey everyone, I'm Josh. I'm a senior manager, primarily working with the Microsoft Dynamics practice here on our management consulting team.
All right, thank you for the introductions. So in today's podcast, we'll be diving deeper into what CRM is, what it's used for, and ultimately how it can benefit your business. So with Josh and Lewis on the podcast, we'll be able to get an overview of the NetSuite CRM and Microsoft CRM software so that you can get a better idea if CRM is right for you. So CRM is an acronym you may have heard of before. It stands for Customer Relationship Management. It's increasingly becoming an essential tool in numerous industries from B2B and B2C. It can add a lot of tremendous value to your core business operations. CRM is a piece of software that you can use to manage your company's interactions with current and potential customers. So from a high-level point of view, it helps to streamline the customer lifecycle so that you can maximize the conversion rate from a prospective customer to a sale. And CRM helps in numerous areas of your business, such as contact management, sales management, and all of that trickles down to supporting your business and managing relationships with external stakeholders. Angie, could you talk a little bit more about the growth of the CRM industry?
Yeah, sure. As we know, there are more and more companies using CRM nowadays. A lot of big companies such as Apple, Coca-Cola, Wells Fargo, and Big Four company, they all use CRM tools to help build their business. And some of the major CRM providers are like Salesforce, HubSpot, NetSuite, and Microsoft Dynamics. One of the usually CRM tools are one of the first systems that companies can acquire. And also, it doesn't really matter about your company size to decide whether you need a CRM tool or not. Also, more than 91% of the companies with 10 or more employees use a CRM tool to manage conversion rate with customers. And also 65% of business adopt a CRM technology within the first 5 years of launch. So we can see from the stats, if your company doesn't have a CRM system, they're kind of falling behind compared to the other companies. Also, the CRM market size is projected to surpass around $107 billion by 2030, and it is expanding at a compound annual growth rate of 30.3% from 2022 to 2030. So basically, any business with a sales team, or they use any form of marketing, or just a company that wants to show customer that they're the priority and want to increase the company efficiency, they can use CRM tools to help them. So Mars, could you also talk a little bit about the CRM benefits?
Yeah, sure. So there are numerous ways in which a CRM software can help benefit businesses, and Lewis and Josh will be going into more detail on this topic. But essentially, having a CRM tool supports your B2B sales funnel. It delivers a more connected customer experience, and it can also help increase conversion rate, enabling you to keep track of all sales and customer data effectively. And especially for new businesses, CRM can help you with initial growth. So for lead conversion, sales productivity, this can increase by up to 30%. Customer satisfaction can be improved by upwards of 35%, as well as revenues and decision making. And ultimately, a CRM software can help with lead generation and productivity, leading to a shorter sales cycle and an increase in revenue. And of course, it's also important to consider some risks when implementing such a fundamental piece of software. So Angie, could you talk about some risks of implementing a CRM software?
Yeah, sure. So there aren't too many risks for implementing a CRM software, but it can be an expensive investment, and it would require some training for your staff members. just you have to keep in mind that you need a proper technology roadmap because you might need to connect your CRM tools to an ERP later. And also your CRM system can backfire when you don't have proper customer strategy when using the software, or you start using the software before changing your organization to match with it. So just to keep in mind to make sure you have a proper plan and consider the right software. And this is where Wolfram can come in and help and give you advice on giving you a technology strategy assessment. So now that we have a brief overview of what CRM is, today we've invited Lewis and Josh to talk more about the two CRM software, Microsoft and its suite. So Josh, could you give us a little introduction of what Microsoft CRM is?
Sure. So Microsoft has really expanded their Dynamics umbrella. And under the Dynamics umbrella, they have their finance product, which used to be called Finance and Operations, or AX, which is your enterprise ERP software. And then you have Business Central, which is your mid-market ERP software. And that's where we work a lot with our management consulting team. Now, when you flip to the CRM side of the Dynamics umbrella, you have Dynamics for Sales, which is managing your sales pipeline, working with your conversion from lead intake through to opportunity development. You have your marketing, which is where you can tie in tools that track in where clicks are coming from, where your website traffic's coming from, how to send out marketing blasts, all that kind of information. You have Field Service, which is where you track your field stuff, their interactions with clients, all of that kind of information. And all of that falls under and then the final piece is actually customer engagement, which is like ticketing portals and that kind of stuff. And all of that falls under that same Dynamics umbrella. And the big change they made recently was to use the same backend, which is called Dataverse. So all of those CRM tools can work with the ERP tools through the Dataverse by sharing tables and information in the backend, which helps to unify the one solution. But by default, the CRM modules sit on one URL, and then your Business Central sits on another URL. So all of these are cloud products. And then with it being a Microsoft tool, all of them connect to Teams, Outlook, etc., right out of the box. So as soon as you receive an email from a prospect, you can tag that right to the opportunity, and you can see all the communication. Then you can create automated tasks based around how you need to follow up and develop that opportunity. And then you can also use the Microsoft Power BI dashboards to analyze your conversion rates, your pipelines, all that kind of information too.
Thanks, Josh. So Lewis, could you also give us a brief overview of the NetSuite CRM and its features?
Sure. So I think on the other side, NetSuite is a very ERP-centric application. Okay, it's not a CRM that can be. They don't sell this individually, but it's overall a very capable CRM within an ERP. So the CRM normally in NetSuite touches all sales checkpoints in the system. It goes from the lead to opportunity, to invoice, and even to the customer payment. So you can have a good track of everything all in one place. So it's still all within the same application. So the customer record also, it acts as a centric point in the CRM where you can handle all the communications, consolidates or emails, calls, invoices, and every single interaction. You can see the summary and the customer record in NetSuite. But at the same time, we can say that it has some not very flexible features that it kind of force you on the NetSuite way of things. NetSuite has to make sure everything works well at the same time, making the CRM a bit limited in some features and in some functionalities. So what we can also say is that this CRM, it's fully developed in the cloud since 2004. It's considered today as a mature cloud CRM. Even with its limitations, it's been cloud since that year. Another thing that NetSuite is, it's a bit different from other CRMs, is that NetSuite implemented most of their systems by themselves until 6 years ago. So the independent software vendor ecosystem is not as robust as it is with Microsoft and Salesforce and other competitors. So I would say in the last 6 years, we have like the NetSuite ecosystem of partners have basically exploded, and we're the result of one of those explosions, and but it's been soaring in the last 6 years, so that's growing now. I could also mention a few other features of NetSuite CRM that are also relevant. So it can NetSuite has a it's not limited, but it's still a very useful CPQ where you can configure price depending on customers and customer types and different type of line of businesses. So that CPQ it's something that might work very well for a lot of customers, I would say. It also has some marketing automation. You can configure, you can measure prospect activities, identify leads. Also contains a ticketing system, what we call case management, which is very useful if not only if you have some interactions with clients about sales, but also about the product that you sell or services that you sell. So you can have a one single point of information of everything related this customer, even the products that they have bought in the future and all the issues that this customer has had with that product. So that's also very useful. Contains also not only customer relationship management, it also contains a partner relationship management with even a portal where partners can go and improve the relationship with this company, with the clients, and all the commissions and related with that is also well handled in NetSuite. I would lastly say that NetSuite also has a mobile application where especially the sales force of a given company can go and track all their activities, manage their reminders, the logging calls, and even creating quotes from the mobile. So that's very useful there.
Yeah, thanks for that, Lewis and Josh. So now that we've learned more about NetSuite and Microsoft CRM features, what if a company already uses another CRM like Salesforce or HubSpot? Like, is it possible for Microsoft or NetSuite CRM to be used in place of that software, or can the old and new software integrate together?
Yeah, so I mean, Salesforce and HubSpot are huge players in the CRM space, right? They're solely operate in that area. And both NetSuite and Dynamics CRM are growing potentially at faster rates than these two. But particularly on the Microsoft side, they've recognized that because Salesforce and HubSpot are so big, they actually developed a connector from the Salesforce CRM to the Business Central, which is your Dynamics mid-market ERP, right? So like Mars alluded to earlier, a lot of companies invest in their CRM initially because it helps with that initial sales growth. But really, when it comes to your company's technology stack, right, everything files back to your financials, right, which is your ERP. So that eventually becomes your center point for your business applications. So you don't necessarily have to go to the Salesforce or HubSpot, come off those to be able to use the Dynamics or NetSuite as an ERP. But both of them have I would probably say a more streamlined connection to their own CRM. Doesn't mean that you have to change right away, right? And so this is where kind of your technology roadmap comes into place as those smaller companies look to replace QuickBooks and Xero with a Business Central or a NetSuite and really start their ERP growth.
Yeah, Lewis, how about on the NetSuite side?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a classic answer. It depends, right? And it depends many things. And I'll give you basically three options there. But depending on how heavily are you using your current CRM, right? If the features can be migrated to NetSuite's CRM easily, that's a win there. And it's probably the first recommendation I'll make. So if that's the case, we can migrate, do just a one-time migration from your current CRM to NetSuite CRM. You adapt to all the features on NetSuite, and it can be the simplest solution going forward because you only will have to maintain one system, and that's probably you'll lower operating cost in the future and the licenses you have to pay, everything. So if you can do this first option, I think it's a win. But that's not normally the case. As I mentioned before, NetSuite CRM is not as flexible and robust as other CRMs. So what happens in these cases is if the company has to really grow on the CRM side, has a very customized CRM, has invested a lot of time and effort and on the current CRM, it most likely won't fit on NetSuite. And what we normally recommend in this situation is, okay, let's evaluate an integration. And I'm going to slightly talk about, I'm going to lightly talk about what an integration is. It's a middleware connection, and we have several providers that have a predefined tunnel between all the best in breed CRMs and NetSuite. We have plenty providers that actually offer this kind of integration. So we can talk later about that on probably another podcast. But what I'm trying to say here is integrating NetSuite with other systems is a fairly I wouldn't say simple, but they're simple connectors that it's basically plug and play. And you can connect both systems. It's an implementation in itself, but it's not as complex as a full ERP implementation. So having said that, so we have two options. So we go and integrate the current CRM with the NetSuite CRM, so we can take advantage of the suite of applications that NetSuite offer. And with this, I'm saying an opportunity, let's say in Salesforce.com, becomes an opportunity in NetSuite just for the sake of having the transaction flow from start to end. That's a very nice to have. What this means is you're going to have some CRM features running on your current CRM and some of them in NetSuite. And it'll also gives you a simpler implementation, because most of the things are going to be handled on the other side of on the current CRM, and only the ones that are going to integrate with NetSuite applications are going to be integrated. So that's why I've done that, and it's simple. It's a simple way to go. But the most complex of all would be, let's do a full integration. You totally bypass NetSuite CRM and do integrate Salesforce or HubSpot directly with all NetSuite suites on all NetSuite applications. That could be a more it's a larger integration effort for sure, but in the long run, that's what happens when you have the CRM very well customized and proven, and everyone's happy with that CRM. You have probably no option to do this.
Okay, now that we've learned more about like NetSuite and Microsoft, can you guys also talk about what kind of business each CRM software are most suitable for? Louis, do you want to go first?
Sure. So my recommendation here is, since NetSuite CRM, it's a light suite for basic management, and I would recommend this for mid-market size client normally, but it also depends on if the revenue stream is normally coming from a B2B or a B2C. I would go more with B2B type of companies, because customer relationship management there is a bit lighter. Not trying to generalize here, but that's normally the case. And then that will be my take there. For the rest, I think if your CRM operations are not really complex, you can gain a lot of flexibility, integrate your lead quote process directly with sales and operations. So it's probably a compromise between let's do the full ERP suite in one place, and let's compromise on what the CRM application can do. If you are able to do that, then you most likely are mid-size and B2B type of company, and I would recommend NetSuite CRM to those companies.
Josh, do you also want to talk about which company business Microsoft are more suitable for?
Yeah, I think, backing up on what Lewis has said, if you're going down a NetSuite implementation route for your ERP and you can flex your CRM processes, then that way you get everything in one solution. And it's pretty close to the only one in the market that's going to give you everything in one place. On the Microsoft side, if you have a really substantial HubSpot or Salesforce, then you can still take the Microsoft ERP, without it and integrate those. Or on the flip side, you can actually take the dynamic CRM without having to use the Microsoft ERP, right? So if you're a QuickBooks, Xero, Sage kind of user, you can still use the dynamic CRM there. So it gives you a bit more flexibility there. And then in terms of the other operations, particularly around field service, customer engagement, those kind of areas. So when you have more complex CRM needs, Dynamics is really customizable. So you can really build out those requirements there and then choose which ERP you're integrating against. So probably if you're slightly more complex on the CRM side, but still a small, medium, revenue business rather than a global enterprise, then there's probably a pretty good fit there on the dynamic CRM. And like you say, on the dynamic side, we can still use the ERP without necessarily needing this particular CRM too. So probably more flexibility on what your business's requirements are.
All right, and just to wrap up this podcast, we've learned that CRM is a very important tool for growing businesses and streamlining operations. So how does Witham play a role in supporting businesses who are considering implementing a CRM software, whether that be Microsoft or NetSuite?
Yeah, so probably the biggest part about Witham is that we don't have to push you to one solution because we offer both of them. And then on the ERP side, we offer all three of the core mid-market solutions with a little bit of Sage, as well as heavily in Dynamics Business Central, as well as in NetSuite. So we can come in and do either a technology assessment or just talk about your CRM requirements. And then from there, we'll be able to tell you which solution is going to work best for you without having a bias towards one product or the other, because we have teams operating on both. So we'll give you a pretty genuine evaluation on that.
So just piggyback on what Josh was saying, we normally offer a global design or a tech strategy. And just let me talk a little bit about the global design, just to complement what Josh just said, is so we normally, with the global design, we go and have run a set of discovery sessions and understand how the customer operates and what he's looking for. And then we normally go even, do a tour inside a warehouse and inside a manufacturing plant. So we want to understand how the sales team work and all the type of interactions. And at this point is very product agnostic. So we don't really know what's best for this client. And normally after this round of interviews, in-person meetings, we suggest the best software for this business. So it's a very product agnostic, as I said, and we have in mind all the products that Witham offer. And at the end, we even run a comparison matrix, right, to make sure what are the best options for this client. So that would be the global design. I also have the tech strategy, which is normally it's one step back of the global design. We don't even talk about ERP or CRM at that point. We see all the needs in technology and automation that this client needs, and that normally takes us to the global design if needed. But yeah, just to mention that we're not really biased into any software. We just go there and explore and propose what's best for the client.
Yeah, those tech strat assessments are a really good initial step if you're not 100% sure on where you need to go, right? We basically do a current state versus a future state analysis, and all of that is product agnostic. It says you will need a CRM here, and here's the requirements for that, and you will need an ERP here, and here's the requirements for that. And we compare that to your current state. And then, as Lewis mentioned, that kind of takes us into the global design where we dig deeper into it to find what solution will fit best for you, and can go from there.
All right. Thank you so much, Josh and Lewis, for giving us all the insights about CRM and coming onto the podcast. We hope our listener learned a little bit more about CRM, and that concludes today's episode. We hope everyone has a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
You've been listening to Take Me to the Cloud. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to be alerted of new episodes. For more information, visit withum.com.